We started this a few years ago, and yeah, we have always loved coming back to Adelaide.
That's great to hear, considering Adelaide used to be such a small, barren place when it came to, like, you know, nerdy, conventional things. So good to see more things happening here, especially like Oz Comic-Con. So what's your role in Oz Comic-Con?
Well, like I said, we started it, and at the moment my wife and I concentrate on taking care of the guests, booking them for the show, and making sure they all have a good time. We also oversee things, and yeah, if there's any issues, we run around and put out fires.
So how many Oz Comic-Cons are there? There was one in Perth last week. Like, are there more coming?
Yeah, we do Melbourne in the middle of the year, and Sydney and Brisbane happen in September. So it's, yeah, 5 throughout the year. I don't want to say one in each major city, because there are other major cities in Australia, but with the way things are scheduled for Hollywood, for movie and TV filming, you have to pick certain dates to try and work with. So 5 shows throughout the year is a good number to work with.
Yeah, 5 shows, like, that's crazy. So how long do you guys have to work with, like, even just one show, let alone 5 shows throughout a whole year?
You start working as soon as the previous one finishes, pretty much. You give yourself as much time as possible. Vendors will, you know, plan on coming back the next year, and we can, you know, start taking bookings if they want to do that. We look at exhibitors, we look at features and attractions. A lot of things will vary depending on what people are bringing out. You know, particularly gaming studios and you know, people like Hasbro who do Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering, stuff like that. It all depends what they want to promote as to what will feature at the show. But there's always ways to plan to have them there and start the conversation early. That's why we have people like Disney come along and bring, you know, we have a Rogue One feature here and the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We didn't know what it was going to be for quite a while, but you know, as you get closer to the show, plans start getting locked down. And then with booking guests, yeah, sometimes you have to tell people, we would like you to come 2 years from now and start negotiations on that kind of basis, because some guests are just so crazy busy. You have to give them a lot of notice to try and work things out.
Yeah, but that's just sounds like just a lot of sort of, well, of course, it's obviously a lot of work behind the scenes and stuff. So how many people are involved in doing and putting on a show like, for example, this size in Adelaide, and then let alone somewhere like Sydney? Well,
regular staff, full-time, I think there's about 15 people who work on the show. We've got, well, full-time, but then as we get closer to the shows, you know, we get other people who come in and help out, and then we've got hundreds, literally hundreds of volunteers who come along and they do things like, you know, help us look after the guests, run queuing, run fun areas like the dance stage behind us. Over here we've got people who are giving photos back that people had taken with the guests. We need hundreds of people who are willing to help out, and you know, make these shows a great experience for everyone. So yeah, it's a lot of people who get involved. It's just not everyone's full time.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So so how long has been Oz Comic-Con running in Australia, and is there sort of any sort of affiliation to what happens in the US?
Well, we started it in 2012. That was our first show, which was coincidentally here in Adelaide. And from about 2014 onwards, we've been linked with Reed Pop, who also run New York Comic-Con, Celebrations, C2E2, and the PAX events, and they've got other worldwide events like shows in India and China and Paris, amongst others. So yeah, we are affiliated. We work with other people. That's for instance, we've got the World Championships of Cosplay that we have at the show. That's going to be happening a little later this afternoon. And the winners from each of the regional shows here go to our final show, which will be Sydney this year. They compete there, and the winner gets flown to Chicago to compete against all the worldwide winners in the championships at the C2E2 event. So yeah, there's a pretty big prize there, and a trip around the world. So yeah, it's really actually good to have those kind of links to international shows.
Yeah, that's crazy that they get to go into internationally and compete in something like that. So, being the busy guy that you are, doing things all year round, do you even get to enjoy like time at a convention of that you're organizing?
Not so much. Occasionally I get to have a little bit of a wander around, but most of the time I'm busy making sure that, you know, everyone's schedules are getting met, that guests, you know, if they have any problems, we get that dealt with. If someone misses out on getting the photo or an autograph, they come back in time to get things sorted. Sometimes I'm dealing with exhibitors and you know, the fans and things like that. But it's a lot of work, but it's also, you know, a lot of fun. I'm always running past things, but I still get a chance to have a look and go, that's cool. I didn't even know that one was here because I don't do sales. So we've got our sales team who, yeah, they really work on getting in a lot of cool exhibitors and retailers. So, yeah, I don't get to have a really quiet time ever at these kind of shows, but then, you know, in this business, when we go to overseas shows, we don't have quiet times there either. We're there to, you know, look and find new things to bring out here.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, all right. So you can tell me. You can be honest with me. Do you at least get some downtime before or after the show to get to meet some of the celebrities or get a photo or something like that?
Yeah. We have some time to chat with them when we're you know, between shows, but most of the time we're holed up in the hotel getting things ready for the next weekend, and we're just making sure that they have a good time. So, you know, they do things like go and see Australian animals at the zoo, or in Sydney they like to do the harbour bridge climb and things like that. It's when they're out here, they're here to meet their fans, you know, have a fun time with the fans, but also experience Australia. That's one of the things we really like to do with the guests when they come out, is give them a real taste of what it's like to live around here.